Money, fame, and power. All this and more was acquired in the lifetime of Gold Roger, the king of the pirates. And at his execution, after years of running from the Marines, Roger gave out one final declaration. My treasure, if you want it, you can have it. I left everything I owned in one piece. Yo! Yeah, yo, yeah, yo. Come on, man. You know this.
I don't actually.
You don't?
Not at all.
Dude, what? You don't know the stupid Four Kids pirate rap?
No.
Damn. I just.
No, I'm a normie when it comes to like anime stuff.
I'm a bit of a normie myself. I just remember that
I'm
from a.
mostly just
What?
mostly just a music weeb.
Music weeb?
Yeah.
What's a music weeb? Please go on.
So like I'm the kind of person that doesn't watch anime, but I will listen to anime theme songs. If that
Oh,
makes
wow.
sense.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. To be fair, my personal opinions on anime, there's only been two good anime in the history of history.
Okay.
And I will not say what the two good anime are. If you just say them, you're fine. If you don't say them, I know you're cringe, and therefore I win.
Therefore I win.
Yeah. Welcome to the Two Schmoes Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the infamous Orion, and I'm a normie.
I'm Kyril and I'm also a schmo.
And welcome to 2022.
Yeah. I haven't had to write a date yet. So there's still time for me to mess that up.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm not looking forward to that. On a lighter news, um, yeah, Betty White's dead.
Yeah.
The Queen of America is dead.
99.
Yeah, dude. I feel like we had to address that right up.
I will say, I saw a very uh, positive outlook on it, talking about how it is kind of a good piece of comedy to have an entire spread of a magazine written about your 100th birthday and then to not have your 100th birthday.
You see, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist on this, and hear me out, man. What if Betty White faked her own death and she's going to show up on her 100th birthday?
I, eh,
2 weeks, man. 2 weeks for it to settle in, and
I
then
don't
she just
know.
comes back.
That doesn't sound like her.
It doesn't sound like her, but imagine that.
It would be very unique. I'll put it that way.
Oh, um, tonight on the Two Schmo Show, ladies and gentlemen, I have no clue what we're going to talk about because it's
Yeah.
January and nothing happens in January.
We'll probably talk about Spider-Man some more. Matrix happened, and
Matrix.
it's a movie.
Is it a movie?
It is one of the movies of all time.
Okay, so can I just list out my personal feelings about the Matrix?
Mhm.
We did not need a fourth Matrix movie.
Yeah, I don't. So I'll say this first. I haven't seen any of the Matrix movies,
Neither have I.
and from what I've heard, we didn't need one after the first.
Really?
The first one was really good, but from what I've heard from people who are like engrossed in the film series, the second and third ones didn't meet. They were along the same lines as this one, where they're not bad, but they don't hold a candle to the original. And there's people who are gonna like them a lot for certain themes and concepts that they talk about, but for like the average moviegoer, they're fine movies, but they're not gonna hit that mass popular appeal that the first one did because it was so unique.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. $190 million went into the Matrix 4.
And they've gotten 21 out of it so far.
I've seen the box office
That
at
might be out of date.
106 million.
Okay, so this is Rotten Tomatoes has the out of date one. Although I guess it depends on where they're counting it from. This one has been released on HBO Max, So that's of course going to pull some like theater viewing out of it, but that's still views that are happening, and that's a dollar amount that you can assign it based on that.
There, that makes sense. I wonder how much revenue streaming is considered per like stream.
hmm The big thing for streaming is that you're not just getting monetary data,
Yeah,
or monetary income. You're getting income in the form of data you're collecting on people's viewing habits, what works, what doesn't, what interests people. I was actually seeing it came out this week, according to Cloudflare, that TikTok has now had more requests to its server on average over the last year than Google, which gives it the number one spot.
that's so weird. I've never used TikTok.
I haven't either. A lot of TikTok doesn't make sense to me. They claim that they have 1 billion monthly users,
Okay,
and
one
that
seventh.
doesn't seem right to me.
How many? Okay,
1/7 of the world.
how many people have smartphones?
Because that has to be close to like a third of all people who have a smartphone, and I know that's not true.
Okay, in 2021, the number of smartphone users in the world today is 6.378 billion, which
Mhm.
translates to 80.63% of the world's population owning a smartphone.
Yeah, I don't know. It still seems high, you know.
Who the fuck? I don't know. I don't know many people that go on TikTok. Um, I
Yeah,
just,
same.
yeah,
I guess though it could just be a thing where because China is so big, maybe it's probably massive in China. So,
damn. Thanks, China. Great leader
but
Xi Jinping.
the key thing here is that what they're tracking is not like actual use of TikTok versus other apps. They're tracking the number of requests that get made to TikTok servers versus the number of requests that get made to Google or Microsoft's servers. So with
Interesting.
TikTok, where you're having a lot of really short videos and it's like requesting like every 10 or 15 seconds, new video, new video, new video, you're going to rack up those numbers a lot more than somebody who like say makes a Google search
That makes sense.
and then they're scrolling through a web page
Yeah.
looking for a different link to go out to. So I was seeing that in a lot of headlines earlier this week, and it's just like, oh, that's interesting. And then you look into it, and it's just like, oh, okay, I guess that's not that interesting. Like TikTok is still massive, but by nature of how it presents its content, it's kind of bloating its numbers up a bit when you measure them by that metric.
TikTok has been aggressively trying to get me to join lately with like the
Mm-hmm.
number of ads. And like every once in a while, I will get an ad that I think is just like a normal video. And I'll just like watch it for a brief second just to see what it is. And then I realize,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, it's a TikTok. And
Yeah.
it's kind of fascinating to see what TikToks they choose to
Yeah.
advertise TikTok.
You know, there is plenty of TikToks that are totally fine. And that's kind of my opinion on it, is that I don't have a problem with TikTok as a concept. You know, Vine was very successful until it collapsed. It was
Yeah.
very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
The thing for me is just that I would rather have my social media presence be on fewer platforms, but on those platforms for longer. That
Yeah.
makes sense. So like I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Reddit. And I'm on those ones a lot, and that's it though.
Yeah. So back to my little observation about TikTok using TikTok ads.
Hmm.
They really try to get a horny audience.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, dude.
They're
Like,
trying to so the thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to get to young people. And they're trying to keep it with young people because that's where Facebook messed up.
hell
Is
yeah,
that they
I'm
got too old too
young.
quick. I mean, relative to like the 40, 50 plus, you know.
Don't take this away from me,
They
man.
don't
I've
want
been feeling my
they
age.
they don't want people's parents, because when you get people's parents on the platform, you've now bracketed the age of your audience because kids don't want to be on the platform their parents are on.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So like Facebook in 40 years is going to be really rough.
Have I ever told you my grand conspiracy about Facebook?
No, what's that?
So 40 years from now, when Facebook is no longer had any users because they've all moved
Hmm.
to different platforms, it's going to become a ancestry-esque website where they will sell your ancestors' profiles back to you for the sake of getting to know your relatives more.
I believe it. Yep.
Yeah, dude. When it happens, you know who called it. Especially since they own all your posts and data, and you're literally just feeding them an algorithm that builds a portrait of you, and then they just exploit that for their own monetary capitalist needs. But you know, what the fuck am I talking about? I just have a fucking degree in media studies.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot, particularly with the NFTs and games stuff that's been happening. I've been seeing that more and more on Twitter lately. Did you see Square Enix's CEO
I know everybody's
his
been talking
message?
about it. Please go on.
Oh my god, I gotta see if I can find it real quick because there is a couple of particular bits in it that's just like, please stop, please stop. So we have this is an excerpt. Advances in token economies will likely add further momentum to this trend of diversification. I see the play to earn concept that has people so excited as a prime example of this. And this next part is enraging. I realize that some people who in quotes play to have fun and who currently form the majority of players have voiced their reservations toward these new trends, and understandably so. However, I believe there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to play to contribute.
The fuck does that mean?
It is so infuriating to see. Like,
That is a gross
yeah,
estimation of the player base.
it's like, oh, we get that some people want to play video games to have fun, to consume entertainment to be entertained, but we don't want to worry about that because there's not as much money to be made. And for me, that's the disconnect that
Yeah.
I don't get with, even for like the NFT bros and the crypto bros, with when it comes to the NFTs and games, is that I don't get how they can't see what these companies have done historically over the last 20 years and not see and still believe that those companies are going to act with the best of intentions in the interests of the players, and that there's not going to be basically another horse armor from this.
So hear me out, dude. Indie gaming is the way of the future at this point. AAA is dead.
So the indie gaming NFT game has people basically paying rent in order to keep playing the game.
Okay, go on. I did not hear this.
So it's a game called Axie, Axie,
Okay.
and it's like basically I don't want to call it a shitty Pokemon clone. It's a Pokemon clone, and
Okay.
it's not terrible from like a visual perspective, but it is in the same play to earn category where you play the game and you get these little monster guys and they're tied to NFTs and they're tradable, and it's
Okay.
been pulling in huge amounts of money. But the problem with it is that if you aren't somebody who it's like a pyramid scheme, you know, if you don't already have the stuff, it is difficult to remain competitive in it,
Yeah. Makes sense.
and you just get drowned out.
Wait till they start making NFT gotchas.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's someone who already is.
I'm just saying, man. Kind of
I
gross.
mean, so the problem with that is that even for the NFT space, it kind of undermines it, you know, like at a psychological level. Because for the NFT people, they are very literally stuck in like the grind set type of attitude.
Go on. Tell me more about the grind,
Like,
Kyril.
yeah, I mean, exactly. That is a fundamental part of their identities, is that doing work gets these rewards. And you know, it's the same idea as like the day traders at the stock market, right?
Oh, of course. It's a cult.
So having that translate into basically just a gambling machine would probably be very, very successful,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I doubt it'd be particularly popular.
Dude, we can make so much money off our ideas we have on this podcast to exploit people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really afraid of what we could do with some of these ideas. You know, the day I know the planet's screwed is the day they may announce Pokemon NFTs.
I can't see Nintendo doing it because
Oh,
I
no
feel
way.
like they haven't even done like loot boxes, you know?
Oh, yeah.
They don't even really do microtransactions. They have DLCs, but they don't really have microtransactions.
Oh, I know they probably won't do it. I'm just saying we're fucked the moment that happens.
Yeah.
So this is your weekly reminder from the Two Schmo Show that NFTs are kind of not cool.
Yeah. It's particularly hilarious given that Square Enix publishes Final Fantasy XIV Online,
Yeah,
which currently, because of the crypto issues, can't sell people any more copies of their game because they can't buy the parts that they need to improve their servers to support more people.
that's hilarious.
And they're, I mean, I guess that's the that's the answer for Square Enix's CEO is like, oh, NFTs are so big that we can't get our parts. Well, I gotta get a hand on that.
Oh, dude, totally. Friendly, fun reminder that this episode is only going to be on YouTube for 1 week, then minted as an NFT, and then we are going to sell it just once.
And then it will be privated and you'll never be able to see it ever again.
Dude, I've had an idea to make an NFT, and like I won't do it because I traditionally do love our planet, but the NFT would basically be an audio file of me saying you wasted your money.
Pretty much.
Oh no, dude. Okay, $1 million idea right here, right?
Mm.
An NFT of me reading the Communist Manifesto, but at the end of every section, I read an ad verbatim as well.
It's perfect.
Do you hear Mark screaming in the background?
Did you hear what happened with the Charlie Bit My Finger video?
Didn't that become an NFT?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard that they made an NFT of it, but the part that I didn't hear until recently was that apparently, as a part of that, the original video has now been delisted on YouTube,
that's
which is
sad.
hilarious. Because I guarantee you, let's look it up. Let's go to YouTube right now, and we'll Google Charlie Bit My Finger,
Charlie bit my finger.
and we'll see how many hits there is. Yeah, it is like infinite number of videos that just have it.
To be honest, I've never actually seen the Charlie bit my finger video.
It's dumb. It's old, you know.
It's an ancient relic,
It
along
is.
with David After Dentist.
Yep.
I just say that because I see it right now.
Yep. They're entertaining like once, but that's kind of it.
What the fuck did I just find? Charlie bit my finger. Cluna tick dinner number 17. MSM ASMR eating sounds, no talk.
Apparently Charlie is like a their plant. What?
Yeah, you found it too?
Yeah, I see it.
What the hell?
Warning, eating is not real. Do not try this at home. I'm not gonna click on that. There's a lot of shit I'll click on. I'm not clicking on that. That will ruin everything.
Charlie Zombie bit my finger off.
Did you see the recent JonTron
No,
video?
but go on, please.
He did a look at the most disliked videos of all time as a part of the dislike button getting removed from YouTube.
Very smart.
And unsurprisingly, a massive number of them are shitty, low effort children's videos.
No shit.
I'd imagine a lot of that is basically the same idea.
Charlie bit my finger. Original proper Sparta remix. 6.5 million views 12 years ago.
Sparta remix.
Dude, this is like fucking ancient internet.
All right, send me a link. Send me a link.
Really? Okay.
Let's see this. Let's see this garbage.
1 second. I need to mute the site so it doesn't play on the podcast and we get a DMCA. Okay. Get ready for some
Let's
old
see how
internet.
let's see how bad this is.
Oh my gosh. Hey, cool. I got an ad for some Robux. Free Robux
Wow,
codes.
this is rough.
Look at that aspect ratio, though.
Good old was it 4:3?
Dude. This takes me back.
It's so crunchy.
I know. You can literally see the groups of pixels. This is deep fried before deep fried was a thing.
So I have the like bring back the dislike button extension thing.
That's amazing.
It's great. It's really good for stuff like this because you can look at it and laugh at the fact that it has like a 2-to-1 like to dislike ratio. It's terrible.
Yeah, it has 6.5 billion
Million, not billion. But
million.
yeah, I mean it's a lot.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of thing where I could totally see um it being like automatically pushed to just someone's auto mix thing,
Yeah.
and especially like just children's videos. So stuff like this gets inflated way more just because people have that stuff turned on by default and they don't know to turn it off.
Do you remember Gundam Style, the original K-pop?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I watched that again a couple days ago.
Yeah,
It
I haven't seen it in a while. I don't remember it being like that bad. You know,
but do you
like
remember the old-fashioned wholesome Christian values of Minecraft style?
craft style. Jeez.
My YouTube recommendations are going to get so fucked.
Yeah, sucks to be you.
No, click those links. I can't go at this alone.
No way.
Oh man, YouTube has changed so much as a platform throughout the years.
It really has. Like most of it's honestly for the better, but
Internet humor has
I s-
also changed a lot.
yeah, I saw a really good piece about I gotta see if I can find it again because it was really funny. It was a Twitter joke about how like video game channels have changed over the years.
What do you mean? There were just a whole bunch of AVGN ripoffs. Then they became JonTron ripoffs, and now they're Scott the Woz ripoffs.
Basically.
It's a torch, man. You've got like AVGN for Gen X, JonTron's for millennials, and then Scott is Zoomers. Come on, dude. It makes perfect sense. Do you have like any YouTube channels that you remember watching as a kid that you go back to every now and then just see what happened to them?
No, because when I was a kid, we didn't have internet.
Oh shit, I forgot that.
Yeah.
That's what you get for living out in the
There
middle of a
is
cornfield.
right. There is a lot of stuff that I do that I had like heard of that I've gone back and looked at, and it's usually pretty bad by modern standards, at least.
Oh yeah, dude. I've been thinking about going and do like a binge of some old content I used to watch, but at the same
Mm,
time, I'm like, do I really want to donate an afternoon of my fucking limited life to that?
yeah. I'll say it is good to go back and like how old is this? A lot of like the old iDubbbz stuff still holds up because it's like proto humor.
Before YouTube started taking its self seriously.
Yeah. But even that's only like 5 or 6 years ago. But it's still pretty good.
Remember the
Holds
wild
up.
west of like internet humor when like Filthy Frank was showing up again?
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. I have a lot of iDubbbz to catch up on.
Honestly, most of his newer stuff is kind of bad.
Is it?
I mean, it's not okay. Maybe it's not bad, but it doesn't have the same vibe that his old stuff had. It's very much him recognizing that he's gotten to the point where his channel's big enough that he can just kind of do what he wants rather than what it was that made him entertaining before. And respect him for doing what makes him happy, but it's not the same.
Fair enough. Let's see. The last iDubbbz video I watched was that Ice Cream Man documentary he did,
Mm-hmm.
and he never did another one after that.
Nope.
Maybe because it only broke 6.4 million in full force, its counterpart broke 21. What a wild day that was. What else do we have to talk about?
So
We had
I
a
got
whole
movies
holiday
because
happen.
we kind of started there with the Matrix and it went off the rails.
Yeah.
um, but I was really surprised to see how highly rated Spider-Man was on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like in a 98 for the audience score,
It's.
which just seems crazy, crazy high.
Nah, dude.
I don't know. I mean, you did have the fair point though. There's like a lot of like the normie type people that are gonna see it, and yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Okay, so recently, for all of you that don't know, there's a YouTube channel that Kyril and I watch called The Killing Experience that did a video on the history of film. I just watched it yesterday, and I got a lot of the film references in it from taking a film class in high school. I not high school, college. Um, that being said, I get the feeling most people nowadays don't really care about the art of filmmaking and they just want to see superhero toys fight each other. And maybe
I
that's why Spider-Man's doing so good.
I would be really curious what like the median number of movies a person sees in a year are, because I know if you take just like the average, there's gonna be a minority of people that see like literally every movie that's
Yeah,
gonna pull it up, but like how many movies did the average person see?
that's what I'm going to see. Let's see if Brother Google can give it for us.
Yeah.
In theaters, the average person sees about 2.3 films a year.
See, I think that that's high because I think that when you take an average like that, it's going to get pulled up.
Oh, of course.
So if you're looking at it from the perspective of like the average movie watcher sees one or two films per year, and that's their benchmark for like what is good movie, I get why it gets that high.
Mm-hmm. So, I went to go see 6 films in the theaters last year because I
Mm.
wanted to support movie theaters coming
What have
back.
I seen? I think I've seen three,
3? Casual.
three, but I didn't see any in like the first half of the year. It's
Oh,
all in the second half.
yeah, I saw all mine in the second half as well.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend really likes going to the movies,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very movied out.
See, I like going to the movies, but I don't like going to the big theaters because there's just way too many people.
Oh, yeah,
Like
dude.
even like pre-COVID, I just can't stand being near that many people.
As much as I liked watching No Way Home as a theatrical experience, the worst part was getting into No Way Home because of the fucking amount of people we had to go through.
Yep. Yep. Those are one of the things that I really liked about, and it's why it's not really sustainable. But I really liked about the Alamo that they had downtown in Kalamazoo was that it was like by design, a limited number of people could be in a theater, even if it was completely packed,
Yeah.
just because of the space that it took for the seats and like the table things that they had. And that was really nice that you didn't have to have a theater packed full with like 200 people. You could just have 40 people and it'd be full. And it'd
Damn,
be kind of
dude.
quiet. There's no background noise.
Remember the Alamo. Moment of silence.
Mm-hmm. I just need to go down to Texas, wherever the hell the nearest one is.
Are there still Alamo draft houses?
Oh yeah, so it's really weird because there's a bunch of them in like the South. That's where they started. The Alamo.
Yeah.
But then they had this one way the fuck up here in Michigan. Let me see if I can pull up a map because it was really weird that we actually had one at all.
Michigan just wasn't ready for quality theater experiences.
Apparently,
Oh, dude, you're. Wow, that's a lot of Alamos.
right, but it's like all down in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have 5 in Austin.
I cannot forgive Texas for this.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in New
New York
York.
has a couple. Yeah.
I was about to say, I think New York might be our closest bet.
It's still a really long way. Missouri's not that far. St. Louis is getting one.
There's Alamo
Minnesota's
on
probably
Demand.
closer than New York.
What's Alamo on Demand?
Who knows?
Can I like Uber eat some food while I'm watching a movie on their streaming service?
We'll Uber Eats a theater to you.
Dude, I do watch that.
I'm legitimately considering getting a like a portable projector
Okay.
because I'm so tired of like hotels that want to charge you $20 for a 5-year-old movie. And then if you say, no, I don't want to do that, they won't even let you plug your own stuff into their TVs.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never had that
I happened to us in
situation.
Chicago this weekend, where, or this, like a couple of weeks ago, where we were in a hotel room, we already fucking paid for. They have just a regular TV there, but they put this custom software on it that makes it so even, you know, I wouldn't do this, but even if, say, you went and you pulled the TV off of its wall mount and took all the inputs and outputs out and plugged your own stuff into it, for example,
Yeah.
it still doesn't pick it up as a new input.
Oh, you're kidding me.
It's fucked up. It'll recognize there's tricks that you can do to actually get into the menus to like see that it sees it, but then it doesn't it's like disables the option to change the source.
Dude.
It's so messed up. So I'm on ondemand.drafthouse.com. And I think this is like just a streaming service, but for more niche movies, it looks like.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Or like the stuff that they're showing in their theaters seasonally, because like Plane, Trains, and Automobiles is on here, Little Women is on here, those are, you know, A Christmas Story. So this must be stuff that they're showing in their theaters, but like say you can't make it to the theater, you can stream it for $10, or I guess just buy it and
Unless
watch it
you're
wherever.
last night in Soho and you can only rent it for $20.
Really?
Yeah, dude, this is exploitation. I'm up for this.
That's kind of crazy.
What a
I'm not even
deal.
seeing it. Where is it?
Uh,
Oh, new releases, there we go.
yeah.
Oof, that's rough.
Dude, how can you. That's rough. Looks like all the new releases are mainly $20 to rent.
Mm-hmm.
To rent.
To rent. Yeah. I guess if you compare that, I don't know. I mean, that's like the give and take. If you compare it to like a movie theater, say you're watching it with 2 or 3 other people, that makes sense. But then at that point, you're not watching it in a movie theater, so it doesn't make sense. I'm sure that's how they justify it, though.
Oh, yeah. Look at all these films that no one knew about because it's fucking the same month as Spider-Man.
Like Matt Damon had a movie. I had no idea.
What?
That's the thing, is that like, why aren't these? Okay, so that's the thing. We're talking. Have we talked about Sing yet? I don't think we talked about Sing yet. Let's talk about Sing. Sing 2.
Oh, no.
I hate everything Illumination does. Not because like the work that the actors do is bad or the writing is bad or anything like that. Because the people who work on it, I'm sure genuinely put their best in. I hate it because it's the most corporate, lowest budget as they can get away with movie while still turning a profit by like they're like min-maxing and they've allocated all of their resources into ads.
Yo, it's almost like Spider-Man, but they put an actual budget behind that.
Yeah. And I guarantee you they made a shitload more money. But, you know, Sing still makes enough money so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And people go and watch it. And then you get 98% positive audience ratings because it's a kids movie and people give it a pass because it's a kids movie. And I hate it so much.
What do you think is the best kids movie? Like in terms of actual critical like film like analysis and looking into it?
So I would imagine it's probably not something, well, if I had to just take a blind guess, I would probably guess something from Studio Ghibli.
You know, that's where I was going to go too. I mean,
There might
Miyazaki
be
is the man.
something, yeah, there might be something specifically that is better, but like something that kids can watch, adults can watch with their kids, and you know it's going to be good because they put time and effort that it needed into it to make it good. You can't really go wrong with a Studio Ghibli film. Like even the old Disney stuff is like visually and technically kind of impressive, but it's dated at this point because it's all from the 60s and 70s for the most part.
Yeah, they're all kind of products of their time.
They age well, in a way that like stuff like Shrek doesn't, because they're still hand drawn,
Hmm.
but they still look dated.
Well, a lot of the audio work dates pretty bad as well, just because of the
Hmm.
leaps and bounds we've had in audio technology since then.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of Disney, Enchanto came out. Did you watch anything revolving around that?
Nope.
Me neither. Let's skip it. That's
Is that
terrible.
the one? Wait,
Uh,
which one is that?
Lin Manuel.
Encanto. I think I know this one. I was saying something on Twitter about like character design, and I don't know if it was from this one. I think it was probably from this one.
What about character design?
This is Kim's character design that was just like not a real person. That seems to be that's for me. That's the problem with a lot of the recent Disney movies is that they start with like a good idea, but then they need to make it so extraordinary and magic that it goes into being unrealistic even for itself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just have someone dressed like a normal person and that's fine. But it feels like they just never settle for that. It has to be way over the top, even if it doesn't need to be, and it's even if it's distractingly so.
Oh no, I found the draft house page for Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's see what it says here. It's got its own specific page with a URL. This is big.
Oh no.
They have a special menu for Spider-Man.
I'm not surprised. That was one thing that they did that was actually kind of cool. Is that they would do special. I mean, they weren't even really like that special, but they'd have fun names on them. I remember going to oh, what was it? One of the Star Wars ones when it was like I think it was Episode 7 when it came out. I saw it in theaters.
Okay.
It was pretty underwhelming, but they did that where they had a special menu for it, and they had like special like cardboard menu sheets that were shaped like the Millennium Falcon or something like that. And it was
Hmm.
actually pretty cool. It made it legitimately feel like an experience, you know? You know, you're not just seeing a movie, you're seeing Star Wars, and here's a menu that proves it. It sounds dumb, but it was really effective.
Yeah, where were you in the Encanto thing?
I just don't really care.
Yeah, makes sense. I'll probably
It's
watch it
probably
relatively
fine.
soon because it's on Disney Plus. My girlfriend wants to see it, but
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would agree with that. I mean, it's like the thing that's probably fine. You know, it's a Disney animated movie. There's a floor to that it's not going to go worse than. You know, it has a 90%. It's fine. It just kind of they make all of this promotional stuff so busy that it all just kinds of blends together into just like here's this big palette of colors.
dude, you got to fight TikTok now when you advertise your damn movie. That's why.
I don't know. I feel like for someone like Disney, they are at the point of being big enough where they can just say, "Nah, fuck you, we're Disney. Watch our movie."
Yeah.
You don't need to sell it to us. You just say, "Hey, my name's Disney. This is my new film. People are gonna see it."
Consume, consume,
Yeah,
consume.
basically.
Ah, dude.
It's a bit depressing that that's the situation of things now, but like, it's just how it is.
Hear me out. If I was Disney and I had like more money than God, I would actually probably do some really stupid stuff just to see if it works, just to upset the
Mhm.
game. And one
I
idea I have is to put a full movie on TikTok, on separate little TikToks, and see how well that does.
I really, really loved the way that Marvel did their trailers for Infinity War and a little bit to Endgame, but particularly for Infinity War, that was wrong. Like they're giving you intentionally wrong information.
Oh, yeah.
I want them to do more of that. I want them to intentionally mislead people or imply wrongly in the trailers because they know that they're so big and that their final product is good enough that they can do that and still have it be successful. It's not like some small budget film where you're promising something different. You're promising a Marvel movie. And that's all you're promising at the end of the day. You can change the details enough to keep people guessing and to sort of prevent the spoilers and stuff that are out there and like give people think that they're having the right information and then throw a twist at them.
Yeah, that works.
I want to see them do that.
I mean, we kind of got that with No Way Home, but leaks, and more leaks.
I feel like anyone from the point where they basically say that Doc Ock is in it kind of gives away the game for the rest of it.
It kind of does.
Like you're either gonna be just that one character, or you're gonna kind of have all of them, and there's not really an in between that makes a lot of sense.
It's a go big or go home concept.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a shame because Doc Ock had like a legitimately interesting character arc in it that can't get explored because there's four other villains that they have to talk about too.
I didn't think it was bad. I think he was just there to be like
Oh,
the
it wasn't
angry
bad.
grandpa the whole
No.
time.
I just would have liked them to have done it more with it.
You know, if those tentacles were a little bit looser, he would have killed everybody in that room with a smile on his face.
Right. But then they fixed the broken part of it, and he's just like a regular guy trying to do good because he was trying to do good before everything went wrong.
Yeah. It's like an alternate ending to his original character story.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's one of the things that made him a compelling villain was that you knew it wasn't necessarily him; it was him being subverted by the mistake that he made.
Mm-hmm. His own hubris.
Yeah. So let's talk West Side Story now.
Oh shit, I
I think
mentioned that.
this is very interesting, and I think it's going to be a really important case study for as like an example of why direct to streaming is not a bad thing necessarily for a movie, and that a movie will succeed or not on its own merits. Because
So we're talking about the 2021 Spielberg version, correct?
yes,
Okay. I saw that.
so
It's pretty good.
yeah, and if you look at the reviews, it agrees.
Yeah.
It's resoundingly positive both on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's the top rated movie by critics currently in theaters
Mm-hmm.
with a wide release. It's the only one above an 80.
Okay, can I just say one thing about the movie though?
Mm-hmm.
If you know Oscar bait as much as I do, you know that film is total Oscar bait.
Yep.
That is all.
I feel bad for Ansel Elgort because he's a really good actor, but he keeps getting these movies like this. It feels like where they never do as good as they should.
Isn't he like on charges or being investigated for a whole bunch of sex harassment stuff?
That I've heard of. Maybe
Let-
we should confirm this.
Yeah, before you go defending this guy, yeah, first thing that comes up
News.
when I typed in Ansel Elgort.
Timeline of allegations.
You want to take anything back, man? Or you gonna put your foot down for this dude? What you thinking? Foot in mouth?
I'm reading through it still real quick
Yeah, go ahead.
because this is kind of. I mean, I don't know.
I know only very
Apparently,
little.
these allegations happened in 2020. I never heard about them.
Yeah, it's probably a good reason why. It's not like he had a big movie coming out next year or anything like that. I miss 2017 when Baby Driver I was something I could enjoy for like a week. One thing I will also give West Side Story though, which I'm very proud of them for doing, is the Puerto Rican characters in the film speak Spanish, and there's no subtitles whatsoever, which I thought was a very brave and bold decision on Spielberg's part, especially when you're making a movie, which is typically targeted for the widest audience possible. But the double standard of language applied to subtitles is something I'm glad he kind of tackled that way. On another later note, my Spanish is actually much better than I thought it was because I was able to follow those conversations pretty good. as well as I will say I was a little underwhelmed with the musical
Mhm.
performances because they were just fine.
How much of it stays close to like? I mean, I'd have to imagine it has to be pretty close to the original.
My girlfriend says it's pretty close to the original. They did like change one song, I think, like
Mhm.
where it plays in the middle of the musical instead of like more towards a certain other plot point.
Yeah, they didn't cats it though, did they?
No, I can say that because I've seen Cats. It was the last movie of my 2021, and I am very ashamed of that.
God help you.
I'm just
Yeah, I guess at that point you can only go up, right?
actually I just realized it's the last movie I saw so far, so I need to watch something new before I die, and I can go into heaven saying that my last movie I watched was Cats, and then everybody makes fun of me in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Frickin' Saint Peter comes to see me at the gates, like, oh, dude, why?
It's the cats guy. Oh man, I was telling everyone about you.
uh, well, okay, so do you know about the legend of the butthole cut with cats?
No, I can
Ori-
imagine though.
Originally, every cat in that movie was supposed to have a butthole.
Oh my god, why?
And apparently, there still exists the butthole edition of the film.
You're gonna make me look this up.
I don't know how to put this into my Google without eliciting some very bad things.
Vanity Fair Cat's VFX editor confirms the butthole cut was very real, very terrible.
Yes. So that whole time I was watching the movie, I kept thinking distantly about what the butthole cut would look like with some of the ways they were dancing and whatnot. And I will
It
say,
doesn't make sense.
without as bad as this movie is, it could have been, in fact, much worse.
I feel like that. Okay, I don't know if that would make it worse, but it would be. It would at least
Mesmerizing?
make it unique. Not quite.
Oh. What? What are you laughing at, boy?
Director Tom Hooper, the source alleged, knew nothing about animation and was, quote, horrible, disrespectful, demeaning, and condescending toward employees.
You know what? I can see that because
Yep.
it's animated like shit. Um, so here's a little mini review of the film Cats for you, ladies and gentlemen. From an animation standpoint, it's terrible, unforgivable. My least favorite detail about the whole movie is you can tell they were doing the actual filming with the mocap suits in like skin tight mocap suits because you can
Yep.
kind of see like literally every little fold in the person's body. It's
Yep.
literally just like a retexturing of the skin.
Oh, it
But
literally is.
yeah, so for the house cats, they have them wear collars throughout the film, and you can tell
Hmm.
the collars were just very sloppily just CGI'd on them. And
Oh, really?
yes, dude, because like they have like little like name tags, and the name tags don't agree with gravity. They don't follow the rules of gravity at all during the whole movie. So every time a character with like a house cat was dancing, I would watch their name tags just flail incorrectly. And like I don't know how to put it other than that because unless you have never thrown something in your life, you know how gravity works on something.
Yep.
So that is the worst part about cats to me. But at the same time, it's like borderline a fetish movie half the time as well. So that's
Yeah.
pretty terrible. And I think if they asked the actors to actually wear actual collars on top of their mocap suits, it would have given away it was a fetish movie much faster.
Maybe. The whole thing's weird because if you look at like what is the general cultural consensus on like fetishy stuff like that, this still isn't even that. It's
No,
like
it's too
the
tame.
uncanny valley of fetishes.
I think there was a producer that was really trying to pull for it,
It
but
must have. I mean, it must have been.
yeah,
Someone must have been just like, "That's perfect," and everybody was just so freaked out that no one disagreed with it.
someone had more money than everybody else in the room.
It
Oh,
is pretty remarkable to see a modern day movie go so wrong in literally every way.
You think it could have gone wrong in every way, but you gotta remember the butthole cut is still out there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so it's probably out there somewhere, but I feel like that's the kind of, from what I'm reading, it doesn't sound like it was quite that literal.
No.
It was just a weird idiosyncrasy of the way that their CGI had the fake fur meeting.
Mm-hmm. But the butthole cut is much funner to say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Much more fun. Sorry, I'm trying to get more proper with my fucking English. So, what were we talking about? Oh yes, West Side Story
West Side Story. Yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
the it got really
For the
bad.
butthole cut. Yeah. So I mean, it seems like it's doing fine, but it's like financially not doing great.
No.
But I was thinking about it because it's interesting because right now we have three movies that all have uh about the same budget. I would say we have The Kingsman, Matrix Resurrections, and West Side Story that are all kind of in a similar tier of film, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of that kind of like B plus A minus tier of between like less than big summer blockbuster, but clearly still like a properly funded film.
Yes.
And we have West Side Story that is only in theaters, Matrix Resurrection that's on HBO Max, and The King's Man that is also only in theaters. And they all have about the same number of reviews on them so far.
Mm-hmm.
And West Side Story critically is doing far better. Matrix is kind of in the middle, but it also has the streaming thing to consider. And then we have Kingsman, which is kind of its own thing at the bottom of the barrel. Um, but Matrix Resurrection being on HBO Max at the same time as West Side Story isn't, and they're both financially like hitting about the same point. It seems like,
Interesting.
yeah. Or even still, it seems like Matrix might be making more relative to its budget than West Side Story,
Hmm.
even though it's available for streaming. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. There's a lot of directors that were kind of pretentious about the whole direct to streaming thing, but if it's making financial sense, I do hope it continues because it is very convenient.
I mean, I do agree streaming has its time and place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say I feel more quality from the film in a movie theater. I don't know if that's because I shelled out the money right away to go see in it, and therefore my brain automatically has some kind of relationship with the product by that choice, or if it's just the fact that seeing it in a bigger screen and being in a darkened room as opposed to my living room, which has natural sunlight or something coming through,
Mm-hmm.
really has something to do with the interpretation of the experience that I'm not seeing.
Absolutely, I agree.
That being said,
I'm of the opinion that I think Disney should have more of their films, the Marvel films, go straight to Disney Plus the way that their animated ones do, because you don't need to be in a giant fucking theater to see a Marvel movie and appreciate it the same way.
dude,
You
they
just
do
don't.
to put them directly on streaming. It's called the Disney Plus shows. But tis
But like Spider Man, you can't
no.
for no reason. It's like
So,
literally free money, and they're saying no, we don't want it.
Sony, dude, they still have to fight with Sony.
How could I forget? How long do you think it's going to be until Sony just sells off their movie division?
The whole division itself?
Yeah, it's got to be close. They don't have that many. Like, what Sony movies have we had?
Let's look it up real quick.
I can't imagine there's been that many massive ones.
So,
Like, it's all Spider-Man stuff.
yeah, like this whole first row, popular movies about Sony. Wow, and they're all literally fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah,
He's the only thing that's keeping them alive right now.
basically. So they did have the Ghostbusters movie apparently that came out
Okay.
to middling reviews, but like, I think Disney would have done it better.
Ouch.
They have
You
Hotel
Disney adult.
Transylvania. What is this? 4, 5 whatever the next Hotel Transylvania is. They're doing Morbius, which
Spider-Man.
Marvel is, I think it is Marvel, so like Disney probably would be doing it better. And they have Uncharted, which looks like shit.
Honestly, I don't understand why they keep trying to make a film division based off the PlayStation IPs.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to Sony's historical perspective. Sony has always been of the opinion of they're going to do their own thing, regardless of how popular it is. Fuck you. Because they did it with Beta,
Yep.
and Beta kind of flopped. They did it with Blu-ray, though, and Blu-ray is now kind of the standard.
Half and half. It really depends how
So, I
much money
mean,
you have.
yeah, they are very much of the philosophy of doing that with all of their brands. Whether
Yeah.
that's in their film division, they're going to do their own thing, and it doesn't matter if they lose money because it's all part of having Sony be like a full lifestyle,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
So here's my predictions, right? They did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which it's a Tarantino film, so that gave them some leverage.
Yep.
Um, they did do the Mitchells versus the Machines, which was pretty underrated. It's pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah.
They did Vivo. Their animation department is stepping up the game, which is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, the big thing for me is how much stuff have they done that someone else would not have been able to have done just as well.
Spider-Verse, that's it. Spider-Verse is
Yeah,
perfect. You can't upgrade Spider-Verse.
pretty much.
Yeah. There's
Compared to the number of stuff that they do that's just terrible.
yeah.
Like they did the escape room movie apparently.
I'm trying to see other movies that they've done. I'm trying to be like the devil's advocate for them.
Mm-hmm. Most of this is stuff I've never heard of.
Well, you never heard the Smurfs, bruh?
Oh, of course. How could we live without Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Complete?
I've watched that movie.
Have you?
Yeah, it's okay. It really should have just been a sequel game. In
Yeah.
fact, they're remaking
Oh, this
it.
is old. What the hell?
What?
It's like 2005?
Yeah, dude.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Why the hell is this showing up here?
because it's a Sony movie.
I guess this is just like a random spattering of everything they've done, it seems.
What about Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within?
Sure. Oh,
What?
they did Gattaca? Yeah.
What's
No,
Gattaca?
Sony, pack it up. Fine. That's what it is. It's fine. It is based on like I don't even know how to describe it. It's not a bad movie. It has interesting sci-fi ideas in it, but it's also from 1997, so it's aged like shit.
Hmm.
It's like, what if you took all of the CGI and the futuristicness of like The Matrix, but then took all of the action out?
Have I ever told you the story of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within?
No,
So
not that I know of.
Square Enix wanted to get into making films, and of course they're going to take their big IP and they're going to use that as a marketing ploy to make movies, right?
Yep.
Animated movies. And you
Yep.
know what Final Fantasy was really famous for in the 90s?
What's that?
Fucking CGI. So they
Yeah.
made a
Sure.
CGI movie based off Final Fantasy tropes called The Spirits
Mhm.
Within, and it did not age well, as you can see from the film
Oh,
poster.
that's weird. Yeah, I was just about to look it up. That's the poster for it, I
Yes,
guess.
but they were very proud of the CGI.
I mean, I'll be honest though. What how long ago was this? Is this 90s?
2001.
So like 2001, that's not bad. Honestly. It's not good, but in the context, it could be way worse.
As well, they were so proud of their CGI that they were advertising it in Maxim magazine's top Hot 100 women with their main character as the cover model from the movie.
Okay, they shouldn't be that proud.
It's so weird and uncanny, and I don't like it.
It definitely, so it looks like the kind of graphics that I would expect from like a 2010 cutscene.
Okay.
And for something that came out in 2001, that's impressive. But I mean, it's still very clearly CGI.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, apparently there's a trailer too. Is this a fan thing?
What, for the movie?
Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within official trailer. Maybe this is just trailer number 2. This must be just the second trailer that they had.
Yeah, it was a legit movie. It like I've seen it. It's bad.
No, I know. I've seen a lot of things on YouTube though that's just like movie title trailer and it's like a fan trailer.
Oh yeah.
But allegedly this is the actual trailer. This is the second trailer that they released actually for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how it looks in motion.
Stiff.
Yeah. It looks like a video game cutscene, which I guess was kind of the point.
Imagine watching your movie.
You know,
What's up?
it looks way too much like Resident Evil.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine
It
watching your.
doesn't,
Go on.
you know, I say it doesn't look like Final Fantasy to me. It looks like Resident Evil.
Yeah, dude. I don't get it. I'm not against the idea of them doing like because Final Fantasy games are very story based games. Um, I'm not against the idea of them like doing Final Fantasy movies based off like the tropes of it. It's just that you go in with that's your opening hit.
I have to send this to you.
Okay.
Maybe not right now, but I strongly recommend you give it a listen to. And listen to the music because they blatantly ripped off Star Wars.
Of course they did, dude. Actually, now that you say it, The Phantom Menace was only like 2 years before this movie. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if they went the whole sci-fi route just because they wanted to get on that Star Wars bandwagon.
I'm sure they did. When did Starship Troopers release? That's what I'm getting reminded of. 1997. So this looks, I guess that's kind of telling because Starship Troopers was like full practical effects in 1997. And 4 years later, they're making a movie fully CGI that basically looks identical visually to Starship Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bit crunchier with the compression.
Oh, just wait for the Blu-ray, man. They'll fix that.
But like that versus where did it go? There was some stupid scene that's just like, wait a minute, this isn't CGI. This is Starship Troopers. So let's see if you can tell the difference. Oh, I
Please.
guess that kind of gives it away because it actually is legible.
That lighting, bro. That's real. Oh. That's Final Fantasy. I can see the compression.
Yeah, but I mean, do you get what I mean though? How it's just like, wow, that's really similar.
A little. I can see what you mean. It's the lighting that just throws it off.
Yeah,
It's very hard to replicate lighting in an actual piece of animation.
it is for sure, especially in 2001.
Of course.
Although we did have stuff like, let me make sure I have the dates right here, because even a couple of years in animation goes a long way. Yeah, Titan AE came out a
Oh.
year before this,
I know what you're talking about. Titan AE.
and like that's not a great movie, but it's still good, and it has some really well done CGI to go with. It's the same thing with like Treasure Planet. You know, it's a mix of CGI rotoscoped under hand drawn animation
Yeah.
and the CGI techniques that they're using there look way better than Final Fantasy's does to convey that like this is a computer generated picture, but we also want you to be able to see what the hell it is. Like this is just cool. I really appreciate the style of Anna. It was such a brief bit, but it was such a cool mix of like these pre-rendered 3D backgrounds and hand-drawn 2D characters over them.
Yeah,
It was
I
neat.
get it.
I appreciated it for what it was.
So, in retrospect, Sony is fucked.
Absolutely fucked.
Yeah. They've got one
Also,
money
take a
maker.
look at this Mega Man shit here.
What Mega Man shit?
That's some Mega Man shit right there.
Oh, the box art.
Yeah, it looks so much like that one really shitty Mega Man
What's he
box art
staring
they
at?
released in the States.
Because
Who
like
knows?
he's not staring at what he's aiming with the gun. We're talking about the Titan AE poster, by the way.
Yeah, he's like looking straight at what the camera would be.
Yeah, but his gun is obviously pointed in a very different direction. There's at least 35 degrees lower visual range going on there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I don't know what to say for that. That's just uncanny. Also, isn't he supposed to be younger? Why has he got the chin of a 35-year-old?
So it starts off with him younger, but then it like jumps forward like 10 years.
Okay, never seen this movie.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's totally serviceable 2000s like animation. If you didn't know it, I think it's the same idea with like Atlantis.
Yeah,
Where it's like it's not great, but if it's on, you're not gonna change it because it's just fine.
I don't think I've ever seen it on TV.
Probably not. It never got a particularly wide release
Mm,
because it was just kind of middling.
just there.
It was very much like the worse version of Treasure Planet.
Ooh, Treasure Planet at home.
Well, I guess Treasure Planet came out 2 years later, but that gave it a big advantage of like, yeah, this is how this should look, and it gets rid of a lot of the awkwardness in the style of it.
Titan AE fell just so Treasure Planet can walk.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy it from a nostalgia perspective, though. It's fun.
So that's something I did want to touch on because we mentioned Spider-Man so many fucking times now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there is a subculture on the internet that thinks just because something has a meme potential that makes it automatically something of good quality as its piece of art, rather than just something with good meme potential?
So I wouldn't be surprised if there are people that are like that, but I don't think that they would be self-aware enough to make that connection.
Because
If that
it's just
makes
something I've
sense.
been thinking about with the Raimi movies,
Yeah.
and if that like the pure like love of the Raimi movies for the memes and all that is also being extended to No Way Home, and that's why it's so big among the Raimi fanboys because Tobey.
I honestly think it's because the last Marvel movie set the bar so low. The last like two of the three.
Okay.
It is for any criticisms that I have of No Way Home compared to yeah. So this is telling you when you look up popular Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, I can't even tell you the name of it. It's
Eternals.
not coming up. Yes, Eternals doesn't show up
Yeah,
at all.
I probably gotta watch that someday.
Yeah.
I'm
I
dreading
wonder
it.
if it is on Disney Plus yet. Probably not.
Probably not.
Let's see. It's longer than Spider-Man.
Oh, duh. I'm sorry, Jackson. I'm Kyril. Bup, 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 bup.
Yeah, whatever. It's whatever. Eternals is coming to Disney Plus in January.
I just doxed him, ladies and gentlemen. I just fucking doxed my friend. Gotta start over. Gotta record the last hour and 8 minutes of this podcast.
I'm currently going into witness protection as we speak.
FBI, get down. God.
Okay, Google needs to explain itself here because they have a bunch of categories for Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
Okay.
This is dumb. So the first one is popular Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Makes sense. I might question popular because they have Black Widow as number 3, but it's recent, so whatever.
Yeah.
Then we have movies set in New York about Marvel Cinematic Universe. The number 1 is The Incredible Hulk, which like technically true, but you really want to put that foot forward first.
Go on.
Then we have movies about villains and Marvel Cinematic Universe. The second of which is Thor: Dark World, and I agree, Thor: The Dark World is the true villain for the MCU.
Of course.
And this one, you probably know better than I do. Movies about Marvel's Cinematic Universe based on a story by Jack Kirby. what is the line for a story by Jack Kirby? Like he was pretty involved with a lot of it, wasn't he?
So Jack Kirby, it really depends on how you want to look at things. Kirby is the man, by the way. Like, if we're talking about like second most important person to Marvel in its history, it's Jack Kirby.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
if we're talking purely on what the MCU has done, there's only one fucking Jack Kirby, real Jack Kirby inspired piece of work in the MCU, and it's fucking Eternals.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know what they could do per se because like Jack Kirby. So if we're going to talk like Marvel in general, you know how I say there's like the three layers to fucking the Marvel universe. There's the street level crime, there's the national level crime, and there's cosmic.
Yep.
Jack is kind of the father of all the fucking Marvel cosmic stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so that
So it doesn't necessarily make sense that Iron Man is the first one that they have.
I've got his bibliography right here. He
Yeah.
never worked on Iron Man.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure most of these are just bullshit.
Well, yeah, dude. Like Jack
They're
Kirby's
just
just the
random Marvel
hot button
movies.
issue right now because
Yeah.
well, he had a movie based off it, and some people say it's good, some people say it's bad, but all
Mhm.
around, if we're talking Jack Kirby stuff, he did the Avengers. That was good.
Yep.
He did.
Yep.
Are we going with stuff purely written by Jack Kirby, or are we also doing art by Jack Kirby?
Who knows?
Okay.
Based on a story by Jack Kirby, so I would assume that's written by.
Okay. Jack Kirby did very little writing compared to all the drawing because he's fucking really good at drawing.
Yeah. That was kind of what I thought.
So, like, you ever hear about the Marvel method?
No.
It was
Oh no, I think I actually have. Yeah.
okay. For those who don't know, the Marvel method is a style of comic book writing pioneered by Stan Lee. Because Stan Lee was writing so many books at a time that he needed to like give people the notes of like generally what would happen, big key moments, big lines, and then he would let the artist fill in the blanks. And a lot of those books that Jack Kirby worked on with Stan Lee were Marvel method stuff. So he technically should have a co-written credit on a lot of that stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get through like at least two more categories here because I think these next ones are the hilarious ones. Marvel Cinematic Universe movies about superpowers. Small list, I know.
Yeah.
And then the next one is one that caught my eye. Quest movies about Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Go on.
We have Captain America, the first Avenger, then Ant-Man.
I
So
mean,
I don't know. I mean, it's like technically, sure, they all are, but it's just like, isn't that all the movies for pretty much all of them?
quest definition. A long or arduous search for something.
Be hilarious if somebody went through and did like an analytical breakdown of which Marvel movies follow like the hero's journey and which ones don't,
That's
and
all of
then that's
them.
what this list is. I mean,
Dude.
you'd think it is, but
Like, okay,
it's kind of everything, though, isn't it?
every superhero origin movie is literally John Campbell's The Hero's Journey.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. There's no superhero story that is not related to that in some way or shape or form. Because that's literally the cultural zeitgeist that we put these heroes in. If we place them in any other realm, they wouldn't be a superhero.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm just going to say it right here. A big, deeper analysis of the cultural superhero shit is that this is just passing down of like traditions that we've had in storytelling for so long. It's just the new modern sleek package of it. So that doesn't mean there's anything inherently wrong with superhero movies. It's just how our dumb ape brains are meant to function. Because
Mm-hmm.
me like good stories like this. Me want be big action hero.
Yeah, I believe that.
Me want purpose in life. Oh shit. Okay, I'm going to show you a clip from a show I've been watching called Close Enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty much speaking this verbatim from it. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. 25 seconds long. And I think it's like one of the funniest jokes in the whole show. For your 16 eyes, Kyril.
Show up.
But yeah,
That's pretty good.
thank you. That's pretty much what my whole dissertation there was based off of. If all of y'all have HBO Max, Close Enough is a very good series, and I highly recommend it. JG
Yep.
Quintel is my boy. JG Quintel, give me a voice role in Close Enough. I'll do anything for money.
So I'm skimming through the Marvel movies just on the Marvels page.
Okay.
I think it's easy. I think it's easy to forget it because my first thought was just like, man, there's only 3 movies between the last Spider-Man and this one. That seems really quick. But then looking back, there's actually been like quite a few that were kind of the same way.
Mm. Yeah, especially Iron Man.
Captain America too.
Really?
Yeah, because between first Avenger and Winter Soldier, we had Avengers, Iron Man 3, and Thor: Dark World, and then between Winter Soldier and Civil War, we had Guardians 1 of Ultron and Ant Man.
Mm.
And like arguably, you have kind of the same thing where between Spider-Man 2 and 3, there's kind of an iffy movie with Black Widow, a good movie with Shang-Chi, and a kind of bad movie with Eternals,
Yeah.
compared to a good movie with Avengers, an iffy movie with Iron Man 3, and a bad movie with Dark World.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Remember when we weren't getting like 15 Marvel movies a year?
Well, we haven't been though. That's the thing. That's the thing that I'm like looking at this. I'm just like, wait a minute, we haven't been. What's going on?
We had like 4 this year, which is quite a
How
lot.
many? How many? No, we didn't.
What?
Okay, we did. We had exactly 4, but
Yeah.
that's because there was none in 2020.
Yeah.
So some of them got pushed back. In 2016, at like arguably the peak of Marvel, we only had 2.
I would argue the Marvel's peak was the 1 year between fucking Infinity War and Endgame because they gave us Captain Marvel and everybody ate that up immediately.
Yeah. We also had Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh yeah.
It shows how forgettable it was.
I will argue this all day long, my dude, but that 1 year they tried putting Captain Marvel and Ant-Man and the Wasp on us was very obvious where their the real attentions were laying. They were working on Endgame that whole time.
And I mean, they were both like, I don't know, it was kind of weird because Infinity War kind of hinted at Captain Marvel,
Yeah,
which was just kind of weird, a weird way to take it.
I agree. It kind of
I'm
felt
not
like
sure
they
how else they.
go on.
I'm not sure how else they could have done it though.
Well, she plays some like 2 pretty pivotal moments in that Endgame, so it's kind of hard to imagine her without it.
Is Ant-Man even in Infinity War? He's not, is he?
No, because he was too busy doing with stuff in Ant-Man and the Wasp the
Yeah.
whole time.
So I mean, like, from a business standpoint, it makes sense to have them structured in a way that you can release. You can have these 2 other movies that do very loosely connect to it, that can be in production at the same time when you're doing your giant ensemble movie. Like, I kind of respect how they managed to make that work because that must have been a nightmare for planning. Just with the scale of Infinity War and how many of their cast was in it.
Yeah. Luckily, they signed those contracts to be slaves to Marvel for like what 15 years.
Basically.
Yeah.
We're only scheduled to get 3 Marvel movies this year, though.
Multiverse, Love and Thunder, and Black Panther 2, correct?
Yep. Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever, that's its title.
Yep. Yep. It definitely has been increasing, though, in like the total number per year.
Of course.
You know, it starts off with 1 or 2 per year pretty consistently, and then it goes up to 3. and then holds at 3, and then 2020 happened.
Oh, aren't we also getting a whole bunch of TV shows again this year as well? So
Probably. We've been having TV shows for a while though, since like the
beginning of the year.
well, no, but like there's been Marvel related TV shows since like before Disney Plus, you know.
Yeah, the best one is
So
Daredevil.
there's definitely more of them than there was before. But we had Daredevil, we had like oh shit, what was it? The Peggy Carter one
Oh yeah.
spinoff. But there's definitely more of those. Easy way for them to take their people who won't like have the time, I guess, to do it, to just sort of do it.
Um,
January 12th actually is Eternals.
is it?
I'll be curious. Yeah, January 12th. I'll be very interested to see it because I can't imagine, it just seems so weird for a Marvel movie to do that poorly, in
Hmm.
2021, 2022 now. It'll be very interesting to see, like, is it actually that bad or is it just different? Is it trying to do too much?
Or did the alt right just bully it? Movie theaters.
Hmm.
Question for you. I know
Yeah.
that as much as we talk about Marvel, we try to be self-aware that it's not like the pinnacle of filmmaking or anything like that. It's just very interesting to talk
Oh, yeah,
about.
of course.
Do
Yeah.
you think we could ever get another franchise as big as the MCU in filmmaking?
Um, not so it's a double-edged sword. Yes, I think we could. But the problem with Marvel existing is that now, whenever you get a film franchise that's going to start to look like it could do that, people are going to recognize that and want to get as much money out of it as they can, and that's going to ruin it. You need somebody to take ownership over it that can, for one, lay the groundwork to be successful over a long period of time. Basically, like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Marvel Comics have been doing, laying the groundwork for the last like 50 years.
Yeah, 80 years
And then
actually.
also somebody to be just like, okay, now slow down and stop.
Yeah.
Because we have the exact example of that with the DC universe stuff, and it sucks because they're rushing it all to try and compete with Marvel.
Yeah.
And I guess it's technically all financially successful. It's all making enough money for them to keep doing it somehow, but it's not good. It's not enjoyable film in the same way.
It is not. I don't know. Do you think of okay, bonus points for you if you can think of like one franchise that could equal the a giant like cinematic universe like the MCU?
I mean, I would probably start to look at anime.
Anime?
Yeah, because I know that there's anime like in the vein, probably not One Piece because it's so much. Actually, I don't know how many One Piece movies have there been, right?
Um so
Like it kind of flips it, but it's the same idea.
okay, I'll get to One Piece in a second and I do think
Yeah.
there is some potential, but I'll tell you my One Piece thoughts in a second. Here's one
Mhm.
for you. Gundam.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
Gundam is kind of ubiquitous.
Yeah. Like it is impossible. Like that, I can't believe I didn't think of that earlier. We're
Yeah.
sitting on a gold mine here, Kyle. We talked about this earlier. Come on, man.
Yep.
Gundam, make it
Zoids are our
happen.
forefathers.
Um,
Do you know how much I would pay to go see a live action, like, CGI live action Zoids movie in 2020, 2022, whatever the fuck it is?
isn't there like also many generations of Zoids?
It's kind of weird. Zoids has always been just kind of like the dumb stepbrother of Gundam.
I'm just saying, dude. There's so many Godzilla movies. Why can't we get a big ass giant robot film franchise like Pacific
Can
Rim?
I interest you in one Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim has been trying.
They really have been trying so fucking hard.
They've been
And they've
trying.
been doing good with it. Like, it's not all been bad,
No,
but there's
but
been some bad.
for whatever reason, it's not latching on with the normies. Why is
Yeah.
that?
Well, I actually think it's kind of the opposite problem, where Pacific Rim is latching onto the normies too much.
You think
It
so?
is too generically popular at the sacrifice of the little things and references that Marvel movies have that make them so popular among the dedicated people. There's not enough stuff for someone who's dedicated to that fan base to point at and say, "Yeah, I get that. I understand why they're doing that, even if it's not important for the overall plot."
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like Marvel, like how many of the 100 things you didn't notice in blank Marvel movie type videos are there, right? You
Yeah.
can't do that in Pacific Rim because there's not decades of lore to look back on and compare it to.
Hmm. Makes sense.
But if you go just generically, kind of like just Gundam in general, oh yeah, for sure. Same thing with, and that's one of the things that people have been really critical of Wizards of the Coast for, is that Magic the Gathering is very nearly in the same way, but it's just been so badly mismanaged that every time they've tried to do it, it's completely fallen on its face. 40K Warhammer is actually getting pretty close to that. They have a very strong framework of like 20 years ish of history across multiple different branches. So there's the 40K stuff, which is like grim future, but then there's also just regular Warhammer that's more medieval. So they have these connected but varying universes that a dedicated person can know a lot about both of them, but then also could be presented in a way that's more mass appealing, like they've been doing with their video game series.
Mm. So back to
But
the
that's
One
just
Piece
Gundam
wagon.
for Western people,
Yeah.
Gundam for white people.
Kinda for white people. Um, I'm not saying it would be impossible for One Piece to be like a MCU, but the structure of One Piece I don't think would fit a movie franchise that well.
I agree.
I think One Piece would work best as a television show like they're doing with the live action. Mainly because One Piece is very episodic almost in like it's all smaller pieces building up to bigger pieces. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like every chapter builds up to a story arc. Every story arc builds up to sagas. Every saga builds up to arguably the sagas are the big chapters of One Piece. And there's like let me see how many there are in One Piece. One Piece sagas. Okay. So right now, according to this, you can break One Piece off into. Why is Wiki taking forever to load up? Because I'm not going to count all these by myself. Um. Oh God, there's so many. um. Okay. You can break the main story down so far into 9 big parts. Um. 9 individual sagas, and there's more than likely going to be a 10th one based off where we're at. But I'm saying if you know how to pace that right, that's easily every saga a season of television. There's physically no way you could do like One Piece story structures in something as time conframed as a movie. And that is why I don't think it would lend itself that well, because then you would just be making like just these monster James Cameron-esque movies over and over again and having them build up to bigger parts, and nobody wants to go see 1/3 of a movie in the movie theaters and wait another year for the next third.
Yep. I will say I'll be very curious to see how Dune gets received over time because of that. Because they kind of awkwardly broke it up in half over two different movies,
Mm-hmm.
that Marvel does a really good job of having each movie be its own movie. It stands on its own. Even if you don't know all of the characters, it tells its own story. If you see, you can watch just Infinity War or just Endgame and appreciate them for what they are, because there's the clear start, middle, and end between them, even though they're tightly connected.
Yeah.
It's interesting here. I'm just looking at all the posters pulled up. Um, there's been a lot of stuff in the video game communities that I am a part of, particularly in Siege, where people are complaining that, oh, the game's gotten too colorful. kind of thing.
Okay.
It's like, oh, it used to be this cool, gritty, tactical thing, and now that's, because there's like a couple of promotional pieces of art that have color in them, even though the game itself is basically the same. And I think it's interesting though to see how, if you compare, say, Avengers to Infinity War,
Mm-hmm.
the actual colors that are used in the films aren't that different.
No.
Iron Man still looks like Iron Man. Captain America still looks like Captain America. And arguably, the colors in the films themselves have gotten probably a bit more muted and darker. But if you look at the posters, Endgame is so much more of a colorful poster than the original Avengers was.
Well, yeah, of
Original
course.
Avengers is all navies and grays. And even Iron Man's suit almost looks maroon.
Hmm.
And then you look at the modern posters, and you can see there's like a clear turning point with Doctor Strange where it's mostly the same, but they have this big bright ring in the middle of it from the magic. And that must have just resonated so well that they're just like, yeah, we're going to do this for all the rest of them. And then every single one after that has these big, bright background colors that accent everything and make it really pop. I think that's interesting.
That is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The art of film posters is so lost nowadays because of like marketing groups and whatnot. We could have
Oh, yeah.
so many more beautiful posters, but just never happens.
I personally hate most of all the fact that trailer houses exist.
What's Trailer
That there are
House?
people, the people who make the trailers
That's what I
and
thought.
only make trailers. I just hate that idea that you have this group completely separate from the people actually making the movie that are only taking it to make it sell, not to tell you why you should go and see this movie.
Agreed.
I think that's why the Marvel stuff, like the particularly for Infinity War, the Marvel people who are actually doing the writing clearly had to have a big hand on it because they were misleading with it. They made specific scenes and assets that didn't appear in the movie for that trailer sequence. Compared to, I know there's a lot of places that'll just take 15 minutes of their film and send it to these trailer houses, and the trailer houses will cut it up and re-edit it to be appealing for TV.
Yeah. When do you think movie trailers actually shit the bed in terms of quality? Because I can't think of like the one movie trailer that like everybody obviously mimics.
I mean, it's hard to because it's really easy to take a bad movie and
Yeah.
make it look really good when you can distill it down into just a minute.
Well, like it just shows how powerful editing is in film
Yeah.
and like how lowball some places actually are with their editing because they can make
Hmm.
a shit film look so good if they just took more time with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would think that there's probably quite a few of like the X-Men movies that would probably fall into that for me. Where I guess it's easy to do it the other way. It's hard to mess up a trailer, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you literally don't have any expectations for something, all you have to do is like find one
Yeah.
cool set piece and then edit
That's what I
around
was just
that.
trying to think. I'm trying to remember what it was. There was a movie I saw fairly recently that gave a false impression in the trailer that I thought I would not enjoy it because of how I thought the story was being portrayed.
Yeah.
That turned out to be the opposite. And I enjoyed it because they weren't telling that story.
Oh, I've got one for you. Um, this isn't for a movie per se, but it is one of those things I think we should probably bring up because we forgot to bring it up in the first place. The Cowboy Bebop trailer for the live action was very different from the actual one, and I'm not saying it's I was more excited for the fast-paced editing in the trailer as opposed to what we got in the original. Not saying I didn't like it, just saying it was like
No, I get you. It was
yeah,
definitely different.
yeah. R.I.P. live action Bebop, gone too
Yeah.
soon. Forgot to mention
I
that.
guess I guess that goes to show though is that it was very different.
Yeah.
Even though it had kind of the same tone, it was clearly cut up differently, a lot faster, and people still hated the trailer.
Oh yeah. But I was so excited because of the fast editing. It looked like it was going to have a lot of fun editing, which
Mm-hmm.
it did not in the original, but I still liked it despite that. And I feel so weird that we have to now like talk so weirdly about the live action Bebop, but oh well.
I absolutely that is very much my perspective is that yes, it is different, but I liked it for what it is rather than what it said
Wasn't
it was going to be.
yeah. Um yeah. What's the
Did
next?
you hear about the Twitter women in gaming thing?
Go on. Cuz that's like two of my favorite things, women and gaming.
So, oh, when did it start? I think it was pretty soon after the last show we had before Christmas. There was an announcement from ESL, which I think is like just the esports league, so it is, um, where they announced that they would be starting a $500,000 tournament just for women.
Okay.
And the intent, of course, being to get more women into Counter Strike in a competitive league to help them hone their skills for one, and be put on like actual broadcasts in order to get more of these women who are incredibly talented at the game into the actual professional competitive scenes. So, easiest way to do that is to just make a league for it. Go ahead and join it.
Okay.
And people are losing their fucking minds over it because it's because it's like it's women only. That's the sexist part.
Okay,
It's
go
that
on.
kind of shit. I mean, that's basically it. Notably from it has been one of the I don't know what you call him. He is not really a current face of Counter Strike, but he was historically was involved a lot with it, and he still does like podcasts and stuff and analytical stuff, but he doesn't like actually work at the events nearly as much. Goes by the name of Thorin, and he was particularly vocal against it. Um, and the whole thing's just been incredibly stupid.
I mean, literally, there's like literal sports leagues for just women.
Yeah,
So why should esports be any different?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not
One of my favorite comparisons that I've seen has been to the fact that no one has said anything about collegiate leagues.
yeah, dude, like what the
Like
fuck?
college leagues have been around forever and no one says a thing, even though they have real prize pools, but you have to be part of, even in esports, you have to be part of universities in order to compete in them. You can't just be anyone, and no one says a word. And then they do the same thing with an all women's league, and it's like you just shit in their mouth.
Like I'm sorry, is the lady taking your job opportunity from you, gamer? Is this more gamer what's the word I'm looking for? Um gamer oppression. Gamer oppression going on right now? Big gamer moment. Rise up gamers? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, who knows? Whole
Besides,
thing is
oh,
very dumb.
yeah. What's stopping them from going in and dressed up as wigs, trying to, um, cross dress their way into winning those big tournaments? That's a bad movie waiting to happen, actually, now that I say that out loud. Can we get that though? That'd be kind of funny. I would love to see that. Like a whole bunch of 4chan losers trying to do it.
Speaking of games, you played any good games lately?
Let me think. I went
Epic
out.
Games
Go on.
had their big winter free games thing,
Mm,
so I got a bunch of free games I've been playing through from
like
that.
what?
So the big ones were Control, Prey, and the new Tomb Raider
Mm,
trilogy,
okay.
all for free, which is kind of crazy. I mean, they're older games now, they're like 2017, 2018,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're still very good, especially on PC where, graphics are graphics. They don't really there's not that big of a gap anymore.
So I 100%ed Stardew Valley, which,
Nice. Hell
despite what that says, I do in fact have a girlfriend, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
Shut up. Um, yeah, I get weird looks at that now because I actually took the time to do that. Um, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII again because I'm trying to figure out why that game is so popular. I don't think Final Fantasy VII is that good as an
I
RPG.
went I went to go and okay, it's on PC now. Maybe I'll just go get it and play through it.
Hmm.
It's 70 fucking dollars
Wait, the
for
remake?
half of a game. For half of a game, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the original like version. I have like one of
Gotcha.
the remasters.
I'm a lot of it is nostalgia. It's the Pokemon thing. The best Pokemon game is the Pokemon game that you played first. The best Final Fantasy is the Final Fantasy you played first.
Yeah. I am, however, getting very hyped for Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I'm very excited about. Not saying it's going to be great or anything like that, but I am interested to see what they do. Um, I also think I'm trying to convince myself to get invested into Triangle Strategy whenever that comes out.
I do not know that.
It's a spiritual sequel to Octopath. Um,
Oh yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
Square Enix. Ugh, I hate how much stuff they do.
yeah, dude. Square is such a weird publisher because they're either going to make
Yeah.
something really fucking good, or they're just going to shit the bed and make a
Mm-hmm.
Avengers 2019.
It's so weird.
It is, dude. What about you? Anything else that you're playing besides Rainbow Six?
So the big one I've been playing right now is Prey. Actually, that was
Mm,
one of the free games, and I'm like 25 hours into it. I think I'm
nice.
just about done with like the main campaign. It's been really good. I really enjoy it. It
Mm.
falls in the same world as like the Outer Worlds and Metro with that first person action shooty type stuff that I like.
Lots of people like that, Cairo. That's why they make games like it.
Yep. Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Oh shit. I already know what my game of 2022 is going to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Let me pull it up real quick. Cause one day it will be mine. Someday we will fucking finally get Breath of the Wild 2.
Do we need Breath of the Wild 2 though?
Maybe you don't need Breath of the Wild 2, but I most certainly need Breath of the
I
Wild 2.
I guess I'll have to wait and see what they do. I don't get. It seems very unlike Nintendo to just say, "Yeah, here's Zelda 2," when I don't know. Let's see what they do to make it different, right? Why call it Breath of the Wild 2 and not just give it a different moniker,
Oh,
right?
it's going to
I guess
get a
that's
different.
where my confusion gets.
It's going to get a different moniker. It's just that's what it's called right now.
My understanding a lot, part of the appeal of Breath of the Wild is the exploration, right?
Yep,
So it'll have to be a different world.
it is going to be. Here's the
Okay.
E3 trailer from last year.
Right, I guess they did E3. E3 was kind of shitty.
Yeah, this was easily the only decision trailer I cared about last E3,
Mhm.
and I am very proud to admit that because I really don't care about E3 most of the time. It's cool.
So I'll say one of the problems that I constantly have with Switch games,
Hmm.
particularly when they're pretty early on, like this one clearly is, just visually,
Hmm.
is that they look so much like Vita games. And I'm just like, why is this trailer for a 10-year-old console just coming out now?
You're funny.
It looks so much like Gravity Rush. It's not even funny. It's not
Really?
even. Oh yeah.
Mm.
Like the way that Breath of the Wild does their shadows and textures, where the textures are mostly flat up until you get close to them,
Yeah.
and they're heavily stylized in the distance, is straight out of Gravity Rush.
Hmm.
That was how Gravity Rush stylistically kept their broad vistas in the game without being particularly graphically intensive. Is they did that. Let me find a picture. I like the style, but I just want Gravity Rush. Give me Gravity Rush.
Oh shit! We just got a new Lego Super Mario Luigi's Mansion expansion set. Thank
Oh
you,
boy.
YouTube. Very cool.
Like, give me more Gravity Rush. I want more of that.
This
We
man
got
wants.
Gravity Rush 2, and
Oh my
it was really
god,
good.
you're right.
Right though?
The
Like, and
lighting is so similar. Wow.
that was like 2012. And it's really effective. I'm not criticizing whoever it is that works on Zelda,
Yeah.
the teams that work on Zelda. I'm not criticizing them for doing it. It's very effective and it looks really nice. But I can't see that and not immediately just think, oh, it's Gravity Rush because it's just ingrained in my head now.
I do see what you're talking about. Especially with that kind of cell shading.
Yep. Gravity Rush also has one of the best video game soundtracks ever. Don't at me.
Wow. Okay, what is the best video game soundtrack? Go.
Transistor. No, actually, I probably, if I was going to be serious, I would say Battlefield. Battlefield One
Battlefield
has
1.
a phenomenal or fully orchestral soundtrack
Hmm.
that is both very clearly Battlefield. You know, it keeps the identity of the game and how they did it, while at the same time carving out its own unique space of just being good music.
I see.
It's really good. I have it on vinyl. It's so good.
But have
It's
you ever heard this
really, really
little
good.
indie game, Kyril, called Persona 5?
Now, have you heard Rock Band? I think that has the best soundtrack.
Oh man, no. What you don't understand is Persona 4's actually got the better soundtrack, better than that fucking weeby Persona 5.
Yeah, who'd play a Weeb game? What's this Gravity Rush shit?
Yeah. Actually, it's Super Mario 64 because I grew up with that. No, guys, it's actually Super Smash Bros. Ultimate because it's got all the video game soundtracks on there. You don't have to choose. Guys, I like Minecraft soundtrack. It's so good. I honestly don't know what my choice for best video game soundtrack would probably be.
I guess the way that I'm thinking of it is trying to think of the difference between, like, this is gonna be dumb, but the difference between an OST and a soundtrack. Or I
Yeah.
guess the difference between a score and a soundtrack.
Okay. Good point.
So for me, Battlefield 1 would have my favorite score. If I was going
Okay.
to pick a soundtrack, it would probably actually be Transistor because every song in it is just very fun and is emblematic of the gameplay in a way that other soundtracks isn't.
Okay. Okay. That
It
works.
evokes the feeling of the game rather than the feeling of the game's story. And I like that. It's fun.
I know whatever I'm going to say is going to get flack because I don't. I'm weird about video game soundtracks, man. I like older video game soundtracks a lot.
It's totally fair.
Yeah.
There's a charm to it. There's a charm to working within the restrictions. It's
There
one of the
really
reasons
is.
why like black and white photography is as much of a popular thing as it is because it's emblematic of the restriction of the time and working within it.
Dude. I don't know. I could easily cop out and say something like Persona 5, like, because that is legitimately a nice soundtrack.
It's fun. It
Yeah.
absolutely is fun.
Yeah. But then people are going to think I played Persona 5 when really I just ripped off the
You can't have
soundtrack.
that.
Yeah, no, I haven't touched that game. Um, gee, man, I don't know. I think I might go for like one of the Pokemon soundtracks.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If I had to go for like pre 3D graphics soundtrack, I really like the. I've never played the game, so I have to look it up which one it is. It's one of the Mega Man games.
Okay.
Give me a sec.
Or I might go with one of the Zelda games, like maybe Ocarina of Time. Um, dang, dude. There was 58 tracks in the original Pokemon soundtrack.
Mega Man 3. I really like the Mega Man 3 soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah.
I was
Never played
even
the game, but I've heard a couple of bits of the soundtrack. And I was just like, wait a minute, this is Mega Man 3? And I went and I listened to the whole thing, and I'm just like, damn, they really did a good job with this.
Banjo Kazooie also has a really good soundtrack.
Yep.
That's a kind of iconic video game to me.
Absolutely. Definitely is. Apparently, Starfield is coming out in 2022.
Eventually.
Allegedly, it's releasing on November 11th. I mean, it's got a whole poster. That means it's basically done at this point by Bethesda standards.
Dude. Yeah. How much do you want to bet it's going to
I
be actually
do think,
finished?
I think it's hilarious that Bethesda has their sci-fi Starfield coming out years after Obsidian already made the Outer Worlds. It's like peak Obsidian doing everything Bethesda does better and before they can.
That's rough. That's like an ex who just has like an infinitely better life than everybody else. And then their former partner.
Elden Ring looks pretty hype too.
Elden
I
Ring.
watched some like early. It's like the next Souls like that's
Yeah.
coming out. Oh,
Oh
it's been
yeah.
delayed. No. Oh, it's been. Oh, they already announced the delay. This is just an article about that delay. I thought they delayed it again, and I was just like, damn, people are gonna get angry. But no,
Yeah.
it looks really good. It looks fun. I like how it looks different than Dark Souls. If that makes sense.
Okay. I also might be interested in that Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. Mainly because I just like the Octopath Traveler engine. And that game just looks gorgeous in anything. Well, the engine just looks gorgeous in general.
Yeah. It makes very good use of the Switch's engine.
Yeah, dude. I'm just really upset they've kind of like limited it to just being Switch games that can use that engine when really that's a really
Yeah.
cool engine. You should probably give it to the PC community so they can mod it. Just saying.
I don't know. I it feels kind of it feels a lot like how Pokemon was to me. How it was a limitation that they're working with,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool because of that. And now that they're like trying to kind of have that and also have it be 3D now, it just feels awkward.
Yeah.
So they probably could do something with it, but I wouldn't necessarily trust them to do it like, right.
Yeah. I really have nothing else to say about that. Just fucking cool.
Yep. One of the games that's coming out though, and this is the reason I know about it because I play Rainbow Six, is they're making a PVE Rainbow Six game,
Ooh.
Rainbow Six Extraction, and it's really weird and like kind of not Tom Clancy because it's like you're fighting against like aliens or some shit.
Hmm.
But it feels like the kind of game that it was received really poorly when they released it and they had like early access to it because there's basically not a game there and it's supposed to come out in like 6 months. Everyone's
Uh-oh.
just like, Ubisoft, the fuck are you doing? This isn't a game. And since then, they've released more that's just like, no, 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 that was actually just early access. Here's a bunch more, and also we took $20 off the price tag.
uh,
Yeah. So it's a $40 game now, which seems a lot more fair for what it is. But it has a lot of like gameplay ideas that they just aren't really talking about that sound really cool with the idea of they call it the sprawl, where as you go through the levels in it, the enemy isn't just like the physical aliens you're fighting against. There's also this like black goo that's expanding over the map that you're in,
mm-hmm.
and depending on the actions you take changes how the sprawl evolves throughout the map. And I feel like that kind of reactive gameplay where the AI, the opponent AI, is reacting to your actions in unique ways has a lot of potential. But then they also just haven't really shown what that actually looks like in gameplay.
That makes sense.
It could be cool, and it could be terrible, but we don't know.
My mother is watching Game of Thrones downstairs, and I can hear the theme song playing.
Mm.
So my mother and I have a little bit of a rivalry going on. She wants me to really watch Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and I said fuck that. Um, not for any particular reason, just because this really pretentious guy I used to know would just talk it up as the best thing ever. So now I kind of just put my hatred of him onto it. But uh,
Right.
yeah, so I might just go down there with my One Piece flag and just start flailing it around in front of the TV screen just to mess with her.
It seems fair.
Yeah, dude. Do we have anything else for the show?
I don't think so. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Video games are fun.
Video games are pretty neat, dude. Like,
I like them when they're free.
they came a long way from Pong.
Yeah, they have.
Dude, can we get like Pong but in the Octopath engine?
I'm sure someone's done that, like a Tetris Otis Evolutions, but for
Effects.
Pong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tetris effects with Pong. Is there a Pong effects?
Dude,
Let's look.
yeah.
Pong effects. Oh no, this is just sound effects. What the fuck?
What have they been doing with Pong all these years if they haven't been trying to mooch off it?
Googling Pong effects has given me links to the ping pong effect, which is apparently related to STDs. So I'm gonna go with no.
That sounds so painful.
That's gross. I'm not gonna talk about that.
I found the.
If you want to learn more, Google it. It's weird. It makes sense, but like I didn't expect to have to read that today.
I found the Atari Pong coffee table. That's like about it.
Yeah. I always wanted one of those for like Pac-Man. I thought that'd be cool.
Pac-Man would be pretty
Big
ballin'.
coffee table with Pac-Man built into it. There was a pizza shop I would used to go to that had a table like that. It was neat. It was fun.
Mm. So, for those of you that don't know, Kyril got a cat, and I'm actually very impressed the cat has not interrupted this recording at all for like the last 2 hours. So, I
She's been
applaud you.
sleeping.
Oh.
She's asleep. She is kind of deaf.
Oh, yeah.
We're working on figuring it out. She was on some antibiotics, so she had an ear infection, and it seems like it's cleared out. But it could just be that she's just like a heavy sleeper and just doesn't give a shit. But she like is super unresponsive to noises. It's kind of random, like if she's gonna actually listen to you or not.
That's sad.
And not like can she hear you or not? It's like she can hear you, but she doesn't care.
Okay.
It's like that kind of a thing.
So she's going to play deaf for as long as she can.
It seems like it. Because we've had a couple of times where she's very clearly reacted like in surprise to a noise, but it's not consistent. So it is kind of questionable if she has some kind of she's not definitely not completely deaf.
Yeah.
But she might be like partially hard of hearing.
I imagine it might be a frequency thing where she can only hear certain frequencies.
Could be.
And man, maybe you just got screwed enough that your cat can't hear your voice because you're too low for her to hear.
I'll get one of those like Darth Vader voice modulators to make it even lower.
Ooh, Rin, I am your father.
Yeah, she's very cute. She is about 7 months old now, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully she gets better.
I should have taken that picture you sent me of your cat on your rig and used that for this video's background. Oh,
podcast talk cat.
I'm so fucking dumb. I could have made us so many followers today. Next week. Next week. Anything else before we wrap up, Carol?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'm Neef Mr. Ryan, and I've been a Schmo.
I'm Kyril, and I've been a Schmo.
And this has been the Two Schmo Show 2022, baby. A whole new year to cringe it up. Yeah.